Hey there, future PAs, and Happy New Year! Welcome back to the PA platform. I'm Savannah Perry. I'm a dermatology PA, and I've been helping people get into PA school for the last 10 years through the PA platform. Today, we're talking timelines. It's a new year, and it's time to get everything in order if you are planning to apply to the PA school in 2025. If that's you, this video is for you. I'm breaking down exactly what you should be doing month by month to stay on track and feel confident in your application process, as well as sharing tips, resources, all the ways we can help you to make sure you stay on track and as least stressed as possible. So grab your planner or open up your calendar app because we're about to get organized and make this process feel totally manageable. Let's jump in. I do want to let you know that we have a free application timeline that you can download on the paplatform.com/downloads. We'll link it in the description, but this will give you a step-by-step, month-by-month, week-by-week breakdown of everything you should do throughout the year to make sure that you are doing every step in the right order at the right time to make sure your application gets in a timely fashion and increase your chances of getting into PA school as much as possible. And if you think you need more help than that, we have Pre-PA Academy, which is our group coaching program. It starts in February, so you want to sign up quickly. It runs February through October, and it is a weekly program where we have live sessions 3 to 4 times a week where we meet as a group and we go through teachings and different sessions to answer your questions and help you with your application so that you know what to do before the application opens. We'll start with personal statements, get into letters of recommendation, experiences, getting ready for CASPA, and then we'll end with interviews. All right, let's start with the beginning of the year, January through March. This is going to be kind of your foundation building phase where you're getting ready. There's only so much you can do before the application. CASPA actually opens in April, but you can have a lot of things ready for when the application opens so that you feel more prepared. This is your time to research programs. Dive into researching different PA schools. Look at the prerequisites, the mission statements, the program structure, the location. Figure out what your priorities are and start making a list of schools and tailoring it that interest you. You can make a spreadsheet, but I actually recommend using Mappd, which is a free application tracker. You can make your school list, you can track where you've applied, where you've heard from, you can see everything about the schools there, and it'll help you stay on track as well when you're recording your experiences, your hours. You can check your GPAs and even talk to advisors there. When you're researching programs, make sure you're paying attention to the required courses to make sure you have everything done, looking at letters of recommendation requirements, as well as patient care hour requirements and deadlines. That's probably the most important part that will come into play later on. During this time, if there are any prerequisites that you're missing, now is a good time to complete those. You can see if there are any options at local schools, community colleges near you, as well as online options if those are accepted by the programs you are applying to. We get lots of questions about where to take online courses and prereqs for PA school. I recommend checking our Facebook group, the Pre-PA Club, where a lot of people talk about this and make recommendations and share their experiences. And if you're missing any prerequisite courses, now's the perfect time to enroll. Even if it's in progress when you go to apply, some schools will accept that, but you can get on track and get those courses completed, ideally with a good grade, so that you're ready when it's time to apply. Now's also the time to keep getting experiences. Look at your application and see what areas are the weakest. Is it your patient care experience, your direct patient care, your shadowing, volunteering, leadership? Whatever it is that you're lacking, make it a priority to get more of those hours over these next couple of months. Document your experiences in Mappd, and you'll have plenty of details to use later when you're filling out your application, working on your experience details, your personal statements, and your supplementals. This is the perfect time to start thinking about who's going to write your letters of recommendation while you're getting that coursework completed, while you're shadowing and working in your patient care settings. You'll want to ask your letters of recommendation writers ahead of time to make sure that they are willing to write your letters. And while we don't want to send those to CASPA yet, you have to wait until April. You can start putting out some feelers, getting back in contact with people that you may not have seen recently. And you want people who will write strong, positive letters for you. So start thinking about it, start asking. In February is a good time to remind them that come April, you'll be asking for those letters. This is one of the parts that holds up a ton of applications. So the sooner you can ask and give them a deadline, the better your chances of getting in for those schools with rolling admissions. All right, let's move on to April to June. Now the applications open at the end of April. In this time, we are polishing your personal statement. You should have already kind of been thinking about it and working on it, but by April, it should be done. As well as your experience details, you can have your list of experiences ready, everything complete, so that when CASPA opens, you're just copying, pasting into the application. If you're in Pre-PA Academy, we're gonna be walking through all of this with you. If you have your essay done, I would recommend getting editing done as early as possible. Our turnaround time on editing is around 3 to 4 days. We're editing for content mainly, as well as grammar and flow, and looking for those red flags, helping you make it as strong as possible to show that you're the best applicant that this school's going to receive, and they should accept you, right? In your personal statement, we want to show your why of becoming a PA. We have a ton of resources for that. There's the PA School Personal Statement Guide to help you write it. If you just Google the PA Platform Personal Statement, you'll find more videos and live edits and specific resources to help you walk through that essay writing process. Once you have your essay done, those experience details also become important. These are sections in your application where you'll explain what your experiences were, and you have 600 characters. It's about a paragraph, but you can use each of these like a mini essay to talk about what you did, what skills you learned, what strengths you learned, and really show the lessons that came out of that experience. Now, once CASPA opens in April, you will make your application or log into it, pull it forward if you've applied in the past or made it in the past, and then you will request transcripts. You need to get your transcripts sent directly from every school you've attended right into CASPA. And the first thing you should do as well is request your letters of recommendation. Get those requests out so that you're giving your letter writers plenty of time to write a strong letter and get it submitted for you so you can meet your deadlines. Don't feel bad about staying on them if they're not getting it in a timely fashion. Now, as well as your application opening, if you have been putting off taking tests, now's the time to get those completed. We want the GRE and PA-CAT completed. GRE takes about 2 weeks to get results back, and the PA-CAT can take 8 weeks. So these are things that you may even want to move up in your process to February or March so that you have time to retake them if needed. Some schools will accept in-progress tests, so you don't necessarily have to have those completed or the test by the time you submit your application. And then tests like CASPA are actually not completed until you have already submitted your application, and then you will schedule to take CASPA, and that will go out to the program specifically. While you're getting ready to apply, update your resume. Some schools will have you submit your resume with your application, so you can make some updates to that. Make sure that all of the dates and experiences on there are current. Keep it concise and tailored to really highlight your strengths. Think of this like a snapshot. So your application has everything on it. It's going to be about 30 pages when you're done, but your resume should hopefully really only be about 1 page. You don't need all of those details on there, just the main highlights of what you've done to get to this point. After CASPA opens, you want to get everything in and then hopefully submit by end of May, early June to get your application in early. Those deadlines will start hitting June 1st, but most commonly you'll see an August, September, October deadline for most programs. Now, when you're looking at your applications, this is really the go time where once you get everything in, you're also going to have to think about doing supplementals, which means more essays and more writing. Make sure you allot enough time for this. I would say this is the part that most people don't consider, and there are schools that will have you write multiple long essays for your supplemental. Once your applications are submitted, now we're getting into July, August, September, and this is the time to start practicing for interviews. After your application is submitted, go ahead and start preparing. Don't wait. Don't take time off. You never know when an interview invite is going to come. So you can look up PA School interview questions, think about doing mock interviews. We're happy to help you at the PA platform. We love interviews, but there are so many resources out there. If you just look up the PA platform interview, you'll find the PA School interview guide, as well as lots of videos, live mock interviews to help you start that process. One tip I heard last cycle was someone said that they would watch the live mock interviews and pause it to answer the question themselves before listening back to the person answer and the feedback, and I loved that. So that's a great thing to do. Mock interviews, I would try to schedule at least 2 to 3 weeks before your real interview, and those times can book up, so do it promptly. You can use the code FUTUREPA for a discount on mock interviews if you'd like to work with the PA platform. Now, as we get into the last of the year, we're getting into October, November, December, and that may seem really far away right now, but I feel like 2024 flew by, and I feel like 2025 will as well. At this point, you're in the final stretch and we're having more interviews. The biggest months for interviews tend to be August, September, and October. They slow down in November and December, holidays and when schools are closing down, and then they'll pick back up in January and February for the cycles. But a lot of those interviews happen in the fall. You need to be ready for this. You need to have your outfit ready to go. You need to plan for unexpected travel and be ready to go in there and feel confident in your answers. So review your application, review the schools so that you know what to do whenever the interview invites do come. After your interviews, you're probably going to want to send thank you notes. So that's something that you can get and prepare ahead of time if you're planning on doing written ones, or email is perfectly fine for this as well. You're also going to find yourself in a waiting period for these months. After you submit your application, you move into waiting for the interviews. And then after you interview, you move into waiting to hear back from the interview. And that can be a stressful time just because it feels like there's not much you can do. But this is a great time to focus on making your application better. Stay focused, and until you get that acceptance, until you get that guaranteed spot in a PA program, keep gaining experience. Look at your weaknesses. If you need to take classes, keep doing that. You can send updates to the programs with any new experiences, hours, coursework completed. You can add that in CASPA and then also send emails directly to the programs. But continue to grow and continue to show that you're dedicated to this process and to becoming a PA throughout these months. Now, if we get towards the end of the year and you haven't received the news you want, you haven't had an interview or wait list, that can be a little bit frustrating and disheartening, but continue to work towards the goal. Don't give up. Taking a gap year, taking an extra year feels overwhelming in the moment, but ultimately adding a year or two to your process is not the end of the world, and it will just make you a better student and a better. So once you do get offers, you will have a short time to accept, and that means putting down a deposit. You need to be ready for that and making some decisions. Especially if you get multiple offers, you'll have to decide some of those things fairly quickly. So go ahead and start thinking through that process ahead of time. All right, so that's a very high overview month-by-month breakdown for applying to PA school in 2025. Remember, staying organized and proactive is key, and I'm here to help. The PA platform's here to help. Make sure to follow us on social media, and we will try to make it as easy as possible. Download the application timeline, and that will also help you out. This process might feel overwhelming at times, but I feel confident that you've got this. Break it down into steps and you can get it done, I promise. If you found this video helpful, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on future videos. We have a lot of great stuff planned for 2025, and I would love to help more of you become PAs with more tips and tricks to help crush your PA school applications.